Afternoon, everybody. Good morning, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining my webinar. The masterclass is all about becoming irresistible to the media so that you have a surge of sales inquiries. Now, how good would that be? Amazing, don't you think? And I'm going to show you some fantastic results that people get as a result of, literally being mentioned in the press. Okay, so we're going to kick off right now. And I just want to say, this is your massive PR opportunity. How many of you are thinking, oh my God, I want to get into the press and I don't know how to do it? Well, that's obviously why you're here. I'm going to be showing you a huge PR opportunity for your business and how you can personalize it to you. And so you can become totally irresistible to the press with perfect pitches. And I'm going to show you how and why, because I have got that t-shirt. And yeah, put on your nerd face, because we're going to do a bit of learning right now. And what you're going to be learning is how to avoid making those 5 mistakes that everybody else is making, and you don't need to make them, okay? Once upon a time, I was blacklisted by a journalist, and I'll tell you a bit about that a bit later on, but my God, it's one of those key mistakes I will never, ever make again, okay? So first off, stop, please, everything. I want you to switch off all your distractions, turn off your mobile phones and everything else that is happening in your life. And we're going to spend about 45 minutes going over how you can get really irresistible for the press, okay? So I want you to take loads and loads of notes, and I want you to just open your mind to a wealth of opportunities that are out there for you. So my question to you is, are you the best kept secret? Whenever I speak to my clients or people at networking events, they just say, well, Amanda, it's amazing that you get people into the press, because I wish I was there and nobody knows about me, but I am so good at what I do. And all my clients say that you're the best kept secret. So now it's time to get your products or services out of that area of being the best kept secret and being there, out and proud. And so you can have super confidence to pitch to the press, because one press mention can totally game change your business. So a very brief intro about who I am. These are my 2 children about 13 years ago, and I have strapping teenagers. So that's Felix on the right and Nina on the left. And they were using my MAC lipstick one day when I was busy trying to secure press coverage for my first company, which was a knitwear brand. I was importing beautiful designer knitwear from Peru. And it was alpaca, and nobody had really heard of alpaca. I don't really know whether alpaca is still very well known. I mean, cashmere, everybody knows what cashmere is. So I had a real uphill struggle trying to get into the awareness, A, my beautiful new brand, and B, this fiber. They actually call it the hair, the wool, called alpaca, which is from the lovely llama cousins who graze up in the Andes. So yeah, I had 2 things which were kind of like preventing me from people actually understanding what I did. So what I did, I managed to go every single day into WH Smith with my 2 children, one toddling along and one in the buggy, and buy loads and loads of magazines from WH Smith. And this is really where I honed my craft about how to get into the press. So I've actually multiple times got that t-shirt. So I managed to secure press coverage in Marie Claire. It wasn't an overnight success. That took, I reckon, about 6 to 9 months to get in there. I got into the wish list here in the weekend, in the Daily Mail weekend magazine. Oh my God, that was another one of doing things which I'm going to be teaching you very shortly about literally charming your way into a publication. And it really works, because what happens is you suddenly get a surge of orders with your products or services, and it really helps. And then I got into a local publication. I'm from Worcester. So I thought, right, I'm going to go in for a kind of local girl done good story. So you can see I basically had press coverage in all the major nationals, and so much so that people started to ask me to help them with their PR. So I've decided to kind of evolve my company and actually help people get into the press. So what I am now known as is the ultimate door opener, because I have helped people get through to contacts they've only just dreamt of ever approaching or getting into. So that's why somebody one day very kindly said, Amanda, do you know what? You're the ultimate door opener. And I love that, because you tell me who you want to get in touch with, and I will make sure that we try every single possible avenue outside of the box to try and get into that contact. And yes, sometimes getting press coverage for clients, it has totally game changed people's businesses. I managed to get a full page spread in the Mirror for a client, and he managed to secure £210,000 worth of orders and contracts. I've had clients, I mean, I was on the radio, LBC radio, for literally 5 minutes as an expert, and I picked up a client over in Sweden, and that was a 4K value client. Other people have had other orders, up to £100, up to, or selling out of their actual product. It's incredible, the power of PR. You just literally reach people in places you've never ever heard of. When I got into the independent with my berets, my knitwear berets, I suddenly was getting orders from villages and towns in the UK I've never actually heard of. It's really weird. And then it became really popular, and then they'd reorder year in, year out. So it's a really great way of opening up and stop competing with social media, because that is something which everybody's struggling with every day. Oh my God, I need to do my tweeting, my Instagramming, I need to do this, this and this. Get into the press is what really, really works, okay? And last year I was voted, which is very kind, as the PR Advisor of the Year for Enterprise Nation 2018 Awards. And here I am in my plastic skirt that I bought when I was visiting that client over in Sweden. I actually bought that in Copenhagen. And as I went over to see her when she had a gallery opening, and that's me being very proud and holding up my award for the PR Advisor of the Year. And actually this year I am also a finalist for that very, very competition. But now what I do is I help people day in, day out, get their own press coverage, so you can actually secure the publicity that you need, so you can be recognised, and stop shouting at the TV going, that expert doesn't know anything about that subject. I know it. So yeah, it's time for you to get out and do it. Okay, so I help you with multiple press mentions. You can see GMB, Good Morning Britain, food magazines, local magazines, regional press, national, Red Top, you name it. I've managed to help clients get into all these places. So you too could be that person, having that press coverage and having that major confidence boost. And here I am. I was in Westfield, and my client called up and said, Amanda, I'm in the double page spread. It's finally come out, because it doesn't come out literally the next day. You have to wait a few weeks. And I was in my woolly coat, and I got it, and I got my daughter to take a picture going, yes, because Jenny is amazing. She does NLP. And she managed to think herself well. She'd had a horrible accident, or illness rather, and she had a botched lumbar puncture, which made her not be able to walk. The doctor said you can never walk again, so she used her power of her mind, which we all know with NLP is incredibly powerful, and she actually now coaches people how to be, females to be empowered, which is excellent. But we're really pleased about that double page spread for her. But it's so powerful, all this press business. Why isn't everybody else doing it? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's because I have managed to crack that code. And I'm going to share with you right now those 5 mistakes. But I want to give you a spot of context as to how and why I can be telling you all of this. Number 1, it's because each month with my VIP clients, I run a pitch clinic. Now that is, I hand select amazing leading journalists for my clients to literally pitch. It's holding their feet to the fire, and they have to pitch their business to the journalist. The journalist will be listening, and they will be saying, okay, and ask them lots of questions. So the context is, every single time they speak, I always ask them to do an introduction and to give them their top tips on how to get into the press and the mistakes people make. And so all of this webinar or masterclass is gathered from, all the months and months and months and months and months of my pitch clinics. So here is Rin. She is a contributor to Psychologist magazine. So that's number 1. Then we had here Beth. She is a former editor at CNN. So we have some really big names there. This guy here, up here, he is a contributor to Forbes magazine. And many of these people, often my clients actually go off and then get into the publications themselves, because they've actually wowed the journalists, because I've trained them on how to do it with the tips I'm going to give you in a minute. And then they can actually go forth and get into the press. This one here, this lady here is Lucrezia, and she's a TV presenter on ITV London. Some of you might recognise her. She is incredible. She's a friend as well. This woman here, this lady is Caroline, and she's a great producer, TV producer. This is Claire, and she is a journalist for Five Live and also the World Service. So, you know, we have leading journos. Who have we got here? This is Susie Walker from Psychologist magazine. So yeah, we've got a great wealth of people. And this is Myron. He is a journalist from the Daily Mail. So yeah, every single time I am doing my CPD, every time we do a pitch clinic, and I'm learning something new, and I just share it with my clients. And don't forget, I'll be sharing some of those hints and tips right away with you. And this is Tim. He is a producer from BBC, the BBC Jeremy Vine show. Okay, so it's just to give you a spot of context, and I want you to use the tips I'm going to give you, or else what's going to happen? Ching ching, you're going to be in that flaming delete file in the dustbin, and you do not want that, because you've got an amazing story to share, but the problem is nobody knows about it. Okay, but you need to follow up what I'm going to say right now. But before I give you all those tips, I just want to give you a bit of an insider scoop to these journalists, again, because I listen and hear them every single day. Number one, they receive literally hundreds, if not thousands, of emails daily. So can you imagine cutting through all of that? So I just want you to put yourself now in the head of a journalist and think about how hard their task is. They're often rushed for time, and well, they're on deadline, because news is news and news is breaking, okay? So they need your story, and they need it succinctly, they need it fast, and they need to be able to understand the facts really, really quickly. There you go. And they often, yeah, so you think that you've got a massive chance because you've been speaking to the journalist, but they have to pitch you to their editor, who can be named as the gatekeeper. And also, I really want you to remember this: a journalist is not somebody who's high up on their pedestal, sitting there and you know, being critical about you. You may feel that sometimes, but they're not. They just want to be treated like a human, okay, not a number or a commodity, because very often people will just do a spray and pray campaign. They'll whiz out, you know, they're desperate to get their story out there, and they even forget to put the right person's name on the press release or their email. And you need to just, you know, speak to them in a really nice and friendly manner, and then that will help you open your doors. And yeah, they require a good quality story, because if it's not good quality, then they're not going to be interested. And again, I'm going to go into more detail about that in a second. And if you've got something which is really exclusive, and you can, you know, you've got your dream publication, you can be the one offering it to that journalist and say, look, I've got a scoop for you. You know, maybe don't say those very words, but you know, but you can say, I'm offering this story to this publication. Please let me know whether you're interested in running with it, because I've actually got somebody else fairly interested in it as well. So now, guys, it is time to be seen as the irresistible media machine. So, number one, the biggest mistake is people just literally fear self-promotion. Anybody in the chat, if you can just say whether you fear it or not, just put the word yes, or put the word no if you don't actually fear self-promo. But don't forget, it is really, really normal to hate self-promotion, because I think all of us do. Me, you, everybody. Now let's see if someone said something, whether you hate it. Yes, okay. So self-promo is something that even, you know, the most, you know, like even Robbie Williams, he's somebody who's out there all the time, but he even gets shy before he goes on stage. So come on, people are going to be nervous about pitching themselves as well. Okay. So take me, all right? I'm going to fess up to you right now. So last year I had that dreaded email. I've actually had it again this year. And it's like, oh my God, I don't want it. I had the email. I'm emailing you to congratulate you. You've been shortlisted for the top 50 advisors competition. What you need to do is you need to go off and now seek out loads and loads of votes. Oh, and it's like, oh my God, that means I've got to then go and do like it's a popularity contest. And like, who the hell wants to do that? So I was cheeky and I asked my friend Jeremy Vine to vote for me. I PM, you know, tweeted him, and he said, yes, Amanda, I voted for you. I even got my dog to do a silly campaign. I put on stupid, you know, how do you call them, faces and all the rest of it, filters on Facebook Lives. I just went a bit crazy, and I managed to succeed, and I won the award. And then I was invited to speak on LBC Radio, which was amazing. But I tell you, I really didn't want to do it. And again, this year, it's like, oh my God, do I really? You know, I teach people day in, day out how to self-promote. And I say, girlfriend, you just got to get over it, because if you're not going to do it, then who the hell else is going to do it? So, do you know, you actually have to walk the talk. And that's what I did. And I won that competition, which was fantastic. So that was last year. Now this year, oh my God, what was I going to do? I had to top it all. So I said, I'm a bit crazy. I do love RuPaul. So I said, vote for me and I will lip sync for my life to RuPaul's Cover Girl in my cape and crown. So yeah, so that's my campaign this year. Anyway, so I'm going to take somebody else who is a bit more a self-confessed introvert, and that is Penny. She is an incredible author. She writes really amazing thriller stories. Here we are, Tideline, I Thought I Knew You, Trick of the Mind. I mean, as soon as I read an amazing book, I just want to get inside the head of the author. And actually, I wrote her an email and I invited her to my local book club, and she came. She lives in Cambridge, and I said, would you like to come? And she did, and she had to drive through the night, which was an amazing thing. And then we got chatting, and then she actually joined because she was promoting her writing course. She said, Amanda, I really want to promote this course as well as promoting the books which I've written. You know, when you actually write a book, if it's a publishing house, they will have a marketing team, PR marketing team, which will do a small bit of publicity. But it's also very much up to the author themselves to, to get on and to seek out loads of publicity. So that's why Penny actually wanted to learn it. So she was really kind, and she said, Amanda's prep program was a revelation to me. She teaches how to self-promote without puffing yourself up or alienating people, okay? Because it's not all about showing off and being, hey, I'm the biggest, I'm most amazing. It gave me confidence in using social media, in approaching contacts, and in myself. You know, it's so important to have that self-confidence. I cannot recommend her highly enough, and especially those who are worried about blowing their own trumpet. So hands in the air if you are a bit nervous about blowing your own trumpet. And then take Nikki. Nikki is fantastic. She joined me. She is the physiotherapist with the magic hands. She came to me because she wanted some help boosting the awareness of her incredible treatment centre she has over in Bishop Stortford. And she has this technique which is really amazing. It's called myofascial release. It's very uninvasive. And again, she had the same struggle as me. You know, I was selling alpaca, nobody knew what that was. So what the hell is MFR, myofascial release? So she has to kind of do a bit of an awareness campaign about what it is. She joined me and was, again, you know, not wanting to sing from the rooftops, but she ended up, every single time we do a Q&A, she goes, Amanda, guess what? I'm just going to appear in Yoga Magazine. Oh, guess what? I've been accepted by psychologists. Guess what? I'm now in Horse and Hound. So she got everywhere. And she was also incredible because then she treated the Duchess of York. I said, please, can you get a testimonial from her? Because that'd be amazing for your work. So she ended up getting a fantastic testimonial. As you can see, Nikki Robinson and the team at Holisticare have really changed my life and my relationship with my body, and Sarah, the Duchess of York. So, you know, having the cojones to actually be brave enough to ask somebody really famous for a testimonial is, again, you know, you have to kind of get over yourself and ask, even if you don't feel really confident in doing it. So that was really great. Well done, Nikki. And she still continues to wow me and send me messages saying, oh, I've just been nominated for this award, or I'm going to be appearing in X magazine. So number two, mistake number two is having, excuse my swearing, an SH1T elevator pitch, having a very bad or poor elevator pitch. So think about your current elevator pitch. Is it full of jargon? Okay, is it so simple that a 5-year-old can understand it? Now that is, I've put ST because that is the Sunday Times editor, is what he told one of his journalists. And he said, look, you need to tell me what you've just made an interview, you just interviewed somebody. Tell me exactly what it is they do, but in really, really simple language. And I think that's such a really powerful way to think about it. Because imagine whenever you're reading a newspaper, a magazine or whatever, and if it's too jargony, it's like, I don't really understand, I'm going to close it up and I'm just going to move on and read something else. So make sure what you do is really, really understandable. And how long is your pitch? So if you're going to be speaking, calling up, smiling and dialing and speaking to journalists themselves, it's the 30-second rule. Now, I pitched one day to Harriet Minter, and I knew I needed to go straight in there. You know, obviously say, hi, can you speak? That's the first thing you need to say, because otherwise if you just go, hello, my name's Amanda, blah, blah, blah. It's like, excuse me, you know, I am a human, so please ask how I am and can I speak? That's rule number one. But then if you can manage to get over the 30-second hump of delivering your pitch, and then they're literally like this, they're on their phone, yeah, and they're tapping away at their computer, and then you've triggered them to stop that. Put the phone, thank you, I'll call you back in a minute. Or rather, sorry, that's you're speaking there. I'll stop typing, I'm going to listen to you. Right, really? Okay. Please can you send me an email about that? That's what you're always going to get. But you need to get over the 30 seconds of wowing the person you're speaking to. And that also goes for if you're doing email pitches. So when you're emailing it, do not send an essay. Just think they've got to read it in 30 seconds. So what you're going to do, bullet points is a major tip, okay? And when you're standing up at your networking events or speaking to anybody and they say, what is it that you do people ask you to clarify what you actually do? And if they say, sorry, what is it you do? Then you know that your elevator pitch is SH, hashtag 1T, okay? So try and do an elevator pitch, which is actually going to be really clear from the get-go. So meet Lizzie. She was one who pitched to the contributor to Forbes, and this is what she says, because I helped her with her elevator pitches. She goes, Amanda's a game changer. She's given me the confidence to take my business to the next level. I've gone from having no idea how to approach journalists to being featured in Forbes, and it was her dream publication. So often I have clients say, when I say, where do you want to be featured? It's either Psychologist or it's Forbes. So there you go. That's incredible. And then she also, because she also delivered, she did a pitch clinic with the editor-in-chief at Psychologist magazine. She delivered a keynote speech with her because she was so wowed at how articulate and how well she delivered her message. So that's Lizzie, a transformation consultant and business disruptor. Well done, Lizzie. So here is an example of how you can do your elevator pitch, your 8-worder. I call it Nail It in 8, okay? Here it goes. I coach entrepreneurs how to be irresistible to the media, okay? So I think that really says it on the tin of what I do. Yeah, you want to be irresistible to the media. I can also say irresistible to prospects, because what I'm teaching you right now actually also works when you're pitching to new clients as well, being able to tell them just what it is, and let's know, like, what, I don't really get what she does, you know, you're going to be so clear. So this actually works whether you're pitching to a journalist, to a prospect, or speaking to a fellow mum or whatever on the hockey pitch. So, okay, so here it is. I coach entrepreneurs how to be irresistible to the media, and then it's great to have your so that you can attract many more clients, so that you have kudos and credibility. That is so important. So that you can play big on a big stage, so you can stop being that best kept secret. And also so that you are seen by millions, and so that you raise your brand profile, and so that you stop competing on social media, so that you can overtake your competition once and for all. And here's my mega biggest so that when I help my clients, so that you can make more money. Okay, that's what most people are in business for, unless it's for a legacy or setting up a charity, so that you can make money, so you can send your kids to university, so that you can, you know, have a luxury holiday. So whatever your so that is, you know, let's chunk it up in NLP language. So I've got one other example of an elevator pitch. See what you think about this. I help female divorcees how to thrive post-breakup. Okay, now how clear is that? You know, we know exactly who you're helping, and we show what you're doing, when and how. Okay, and her so that is this, so that she is happier, more effective, and can get back to work as an independent woman, so that she can earn a good income, or so that she can send her children to university. So everybody, all of you have got a so that in your businesses. Can you share your so that's, please? Why is it that you run your business? Why are you doing it? So mistake number three is not actually having a press hook, all right? So a press hook is what makes your story or your email timely, relevant, and newsworthy. Now, when you speak to journalists, they'll also tell you that a press hook is also known as a news peg, okay? So just be aware of that terminology when they call up and go, so what's the news peg? And it's like, oh yes, I remember now, it's my press hook, and that's what makes it timely, and all the other bits and pieces. So it has a 4-part journey, this famous press hook. So here it is. Hook number 1 is your hook. What is your reason for approaching the press? Why are you going to the press? Hook number two is then you need to hook in your journalist and or the gatekeeper, you know, the editor. Hook number 3 is then the journalist is going to write the article, and then they need to hook in the reader with their article. They write the article/feature, and they need to hook in the reader, the viewer, or the listener. So now, after this webinar, I'd like you to think about when you look at something, whether it's in your Facebook feed, let's just hope it's not fake news, you know, whether you look at a newspaper, a magazine, why is it that you're hooked into reading about it? And then think about the 4-part journey that I've just been teaching you about. So not many of us are fans of the old DJT, but I just want to show you this is quite a funny example of a press hook, okay? A few years ago, when he was fresh into his position as the President of the United States of America, the London embassy was just about to be opened, and he refused to come over because obviously it was Obama's idea and it was his plan, you know, so he just wanted to totally refuse to go to that opening, the cutting of the ribbon. So he said, no, I'm not going to do it. So what happened? Waxwork. And waxwork was put right in front of it, and it attracted the world media. So it was the very, very famous Madame Tussauds. They wheeled him out, and it was just such a fantastic way to hook your story, to peg your story onto a world event. Now, a lot of us are solopreneurs running small businesses, but I tell you one thing, there is always a way to get some press coverage. I did have a client once who was representing an opera singer who sings in West End theatres. And I said, okay, so, and she goes, I really want to help him get some press coverage because he's about to go into this X show, this XYZ show. I said, okay, so when was he last in the press? When was his last big thing that he did? And she said, oh, it was the opening of the Channel Tunnel. And I said, oh, right, okay, that was like, you know, back in the 1980s. I don't know when the Channel Tunnel was open. So that her press hook was like quite an ancient one. So I said, okay, let's try and make it really relevant. Now this is, I do call this story the one that got away. And it was just at the time when Princess Kate and, you know, Prince William were going to have their first baby. Or was it Princess Charlotte? I can't remember. Anyway, it was one of their children. They've now got 3 kids. I can't remember which child it was. But I said, look, she's in labour, she's in hospital, outside that royal hospital, so why don't you get your client to dress himself up into a tuxedo, you know, a bow tie, put a red rose or hold a bunch of red roses and literally serenade the window where allegedly, that, you know, where her private room was, or even just serenade the hospital. Because again, like this Donald Trump picture, if you looked, you know, I've got another, I haven't put it in, but, you know, you can literally see hordes and, you know, stackloads of photographers literally standing there photographing it. They had the world's media were waiting outside the hospital to announce the news. I said, do you know what? If you get your guy to stand up and serenade, he will be all over the world, okay? But guess what? Very sadly, he didn't want to do it. So that is such a great story. And anyway, and then one of my other clients said in one of our Q&A sessions, how about calling it a tenor for a tenor? What was it? I can't remember. Anyway, a tenor for a tenor or something like that. So you also probably have to think about a hashtag that you can put towards it. So that was it. And the hint towards this is that it was going to be relevant and timely because he was reacting to the news, or Madame Tussauds were reacting to the news. So can you think of anything that you have done that you're reacting to the news? Now, I can go into much more detail about digging up golden nuggets, but I won't have the time today. But this is another really crucial part of you know, making yourself a bit more interesting to the press, and that is what makes you stand out. What is your golden nugget? I'm going to give you one example, and that is Adam Peaty. He's currently in the news at the moment. I heard this on the news. I just heard it everywhere. And as soon as you hear so-and-so about his childhood was this, that, and the other, it's like, yep, that is a major golden nugget. So he's an Olympian, a gold Olympian, yet he was scared of water, okay? So is there anything about you in your past or currently that is so interesting to the press that actually, and you know that everybody else in your whole family knows about it, but you don't want to talk about it because you just think everybody knows about it, it's not interesting? That will be the most interesting thing for the journalist. So just think about your golden nugget. Now, mistake number 3 is going in cold, okay? So this is approaching a journalist, and you need to keep it personal. You need to do your due diligence before you approach them. And please don't do this whole spraying and praying when you're just approaching so many people, you can't even keep track of it. So what I want you to do is, if you see a follow badge or the links on their social media pages, so look at who you're going to be pitching to first. Don't just go, today I need to get into the press and I'm going to do it now. No, I want you to spend a bit of time researching who you're trying to contact, okay? So look at their pages or wherever, look at their social media feeds and just start liking and retweeting. Follow them for starters. What I want you to do is to connect with them on LinkedIn and actually offer a personal note. Don't just press that connect immediately. Just say, I've loved your article in Forbes about X, Y, and Z, okay? Then I want you to retweet their tweets with a comment. Don't just press retweet. Just say, again, this is a great article about, and I'd love to share it with my readers because, or my followers because, or you know, guys, you'll find this really interesting because. Find them on Instagram. It's a great place to find journalists because it's not so noisy as Twitter. Well, it's probably getting a bit more noisy, but at least you can follow them. And I've actually met somebody on Instagram and we've now become friends. It's incredible, the power of befriending people on social media, because in the olden days, you would just literally have a magazine, you'd have their name and that would be it. You'd be able to approach them anywhere else. But now it's a bit more stalkery in a very, very, very nice way. So that's why I got a picture of these radars. It's you need to get on to their radars in a nice, gentle manner and remember that they are human. And as I've gone to many of these events when the journalists are saying how to pitch to the press, compliments go a long, long way, okay? Just remember that. So I did all of the above and I invited here, this is the lovely Bianca Barrett. She's a contributor to Refinery 29, to Forbes, to the Evening Standard and to the Independent, many other places. And I invited her to come on a pitch clinic. And guess what? And I did all the stuff which I've been showing you just now. And she ended up becoming a member of my team. So it's really exciting. And she's going to be working behind the scenes with my clients with their pitches, with their press hooks and all the rest of it, because it's brilliant to have an actual real life journalist, not just me saying, I think. It's actually really good to have a really highly qualified journo as part of my team. But you know, I managed to do that because I did slowly get to know her. I didn't say, hi Bianca, can you be on my pitch clinic? And no, it took a few weeks to kind of unpeel that onion, but now we've got a long-term relationship. So just think about that. Now, the mistake number 4 is having a boring header. Okay, and this is, do you remember my little picture of the bin? That's what's going to happen. You're going to go straight into the bin if you have a boring header, such as press release, or Browns wins award, or amazing new product. They're going to go, yeah, right, whatever. They're not even going to look at that. Okay, so I want you to think about your headline. Now, a good way to do this is to go to the magazine racks or just look at the magazines. I think you can see I've got loads behind me. Just look at some magazines and just see what kind of catches your eye, because these subject headers could actually come from a PR agent or indeed an entrepreneur or a business person like yourself. So let's see why I put this one in. Oh yeah, I like this one here. How to look good and feel happy 101 new ways. Okay, and that's quite amazing. So it's like, oh, I don't want to do that one. I can do, there are 99 other ways how to do it. Or love your summer, what to wear, eat and read. Okay, obviously these are too wide for just one person. Or here, what would a doctor do? How our GP deals with her own health niggles. You see, that's a really nice one. So if you're a mindset person, you might have something similar. So these are just to kind of inspire you. Here's another one. Slay your stress now. What you need to ditch for the inner zen. Oh, there's a bit of a rude one down there. Get cliterate, how sex toys can become hashtag self-care. So I wonder who might have come up with that one. Your 360 health reboot, feel calmer, train stronger, eat smarter. So just think about what you do and about the kind of headline. I mean, one journalist does say, I don't want it to be too jazz handsy, like clickbaity. She said that, but however, my jazz hand ones always work. So I'm afraid going against what she says. But they also do say you don't need to come up with the title yourself, Amanda, or you know, to the people, to my clients they're talking with. But actually, I think it really helps. And also because if they're getting 1,000 emails a day, you need to really get through. Okay. Here's another one. Obsessed with love. What it's like dating when you're on the spectrum. Oh, that's a great one. That's a brilliant one. Sex, drugs and death. Oh my God. Toxic stag parties and the women who are run to pay them. the summer's filthiest weekend, we check into the UK's worst hotel. So all I'm trying to show you is to get ideas, think outside of the box with what you do and how you could see that actually on the front page or front cover of the magazine. The lovely Psychologist magazine, Cure Your Bad Moods. So that could have come from somebody. It could have been, you know, summer's, you know, what's it called? SAD. You could have said SAD solution or something like that. Cure your bad moods. Break free, be transformed by your summer adventure, or learn to say no, learn to set good boundaries. Okay, so these are all interesting ones, and it's gonna, you know, they have got to appeal. I know that many people are reading all these magazines online, but just think when you go to a supermarket or WH Smith's, you know, you're looking, if you don't actually know which magazine you want to buy that day, you're going to go, oh my God, I really want to know about Obsessed with Love when you're on the spectrum. You know, that could be an idea. And then I just had to put this one in because it's just, he's got wings. I've got my phoenix wings, risen from the ashes. And so, oh yes, I put this one in here. I think, obviously, apart from this beautiful guardian angel, was Raheem Sterling, save football from itself. But this could have come in from a client. This could have come in from Geeves and Hawkes or someone like that to GQ. How to wear a broken suit. Or, how about this one? Why it's finally okay to own a belt bag. Now, my son is now 13 and a half and he owns a belt bag. So I'm going to have to open up that magazine and see why it's okay. So that's to give you some ideas. Now, I want to give you an example of Rose. It's an old one, but it's my best one. It's my proudest moment, okay? So Rose was launching her range, I think this is back in 2016 or 17, her range of very spicy condiments. She comes from the Congo and she wants to get it out to the public knowledge, and also she wants to get, trade people to start buying and stocking her products. So we came up with this idea and I said, Rose, this is a really cheeky one and I want to know what you think. Because we've all watched the Dragon's Den success of Levi Roots. So I thought I'm going to peg her on the same level as him. Move over Levi Roots, beautiful young female entrepreneur has the secret sauce. Now that was real clickbait. And then we had then journalists would click on that and then they'd see the whole press release. And we had the subheader. So don't forget about your subheader as well. If yours is a bit too kind of clickbaity, you need to have a bit of a subheader. Announcing stylish new African spicy and flavoursome condiment to stand out from the crowd. Now, the success we had in that, you know, her inbox exploded and so did mine because we sent it out. We did a mass send out. She managed to get into, into Olive magazine. We had interest from Sainsbury's, from Waitrose magazine. It was just like literally blew up. Literally that afternoon, she was on about 2 or 3 different trade publications, okay? So an amazing headline really, really makes you stand out from those 1,000 emails. Now, the 5th mistake that people are making, and this is crucial, I can't stress it higher enough, is they don't put statistics in, okay? So you need to allude your company or whatever you're doing to what is going on in the world. Because if it's just like a free, you know, just like, oh, I got a great product, you actually need to say, okay, mental health. I don't know, I'm going to make these up, like 75% of the population suffers from X, Y, and Z. A journalist loves a statistic. And then you also need to quote your reliable source, okay? So you need to back it up. And I'm going to say it again, back it up and quote your reliable source. So if it's in the press release or in your email, have a live link to, is it ONS, then, you know, the Office of National Statistics, just find out, or if you indeed, or your company has done a study, give the link so they can actually see it and it can be backed up, all right? Now, the common thread, whenever I have any of these pitch clinics, every single one of these journalists always says, Amanda, I need statistics, okay? So please think about the statistics whenever you're pitching yourself to the press. So I'm gonna now do a recap on the 5 mistakes so that you don't make them and you just turn them into your 5 successes in pitching to the press. So number 1, it's the fear of self-promotion. So can I get an amen that you're going to stop fearing self-promotion? Number 2 is having not a very good elevator pitch. Again, so please, I want you to have great elevator pitches that are short and sharp, okay? The mistake number 3 is going in cold. So turn it on its head. I want you to know who you're pitching to. And number 4 is not having a press hook. And then not having the statistics. So I want you to remember all of that. And I want you to now just to imagine you appearing in a major publication and what that is going to do to your business. So this is a client getting into City AM. That was fantastic. Another one, a relationship expert getting into a Red Top magazine. That's Life. So he was How to Train Your Mother when you've got a very poor relationship with her. Getting into a local publication, this lady, Greta, had a 7-page or 6-page spread. It was incredible, and that really, really boosted her business. Getting into a food magazine, if you're a foodie person, or if you're HR, getting into HR People Today. Getting into Forbes, I mean, Forbes is international, so can you just imagine getting in there? And the people who've got in there, my clients who got in there, have had sales leads, they've had invites to major podcasts, TV show invites, speaking on stage. You know, the list goes on of what can happen if you can get through to these publications. Going on to GMB, Good Morning Britain, you know, a whole host. So if you just close your eyes and think, oh my God, I would love to get there, and just think what it can do to your confidence, and not only the confidence, but also for your client to say, oh my God, she's been there. Yeah, do you know, I actually took somebody on board, a therapist, because I had seen that he had worked for, he'd appeared in the BBC. So that, and I don't know whether it's just like a busman's holiday, but, you know, had various ones to choose from, but because it said BBC, I went straight for him, and he's a lovely guy. He's a hypnotherapist. He's incredible. So I think it really changes people's opinions of actually when you have got a press logo on your website, and it's going to help you grow your brand. You are going to become the leading expert, and you're ready to step into your power. Because is this you? Are you proactively looking to grow your brand? I'm sure that is why you're on this webinar right now. And are you ready to open many, many more doors even every day, and be seen as the thought leader? Okay, because this is all about attracting many more clients and therefore attracting much more abundance into your business. The opportunities are limitless. You can have TV appearances, radio, podcasts, appear on news outlets, speaking gigs, get paid work. That's what it's all about. So now I want to say to you, you've got a choice, okay? You're going to think, oh my goodness, how am I going to apply all this PR business that Amanda's been talking about into my life? So you can either do it slowly and using trial and error and some of what I have taught you today, or you can just do it really quickly, super fast, using my help, okay? So I've got an invitation to you, and that is for you, if you are a fast growing business and you really do want to scale to the next level. If that is you and you can answer yes, then I'd like you to apply right now for a one-on-one discovery call, which will be absolutely free. And we'll do a deep dive into your business, where you'd like to be seen, and how we can put all of these ideas into promoting your business into that. Okay, so please apply for that one-on-one call, because what's going to happen is you'll have the opportunity to have all these ideas like pitching to these places. Okay, so here is the link. It's apply right now. Okay, and the link is amandapr.com/apply, and then maybe you too could be part of that pitching panel, learning how to pitch the press and successfully getting into the press. Okay, so that is my invitation to you, so you can put it all into practice. So thank you very, very much. And I've got something else to say. It's going to help you do this. It's going to help you shine a light on your business, because why the hell shouldn't you have a light shone on your business? You deserve it after all, don't you?